Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today my name is Osereme. In my last video you guys saw the pattern drafting tutorial of how I drafted a corset pattern with sleeves. So today we're going to be sewing it together. If you're interested in seeing how to sew your very own, you definitely want to keep on watching. If you're not subscribed, hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And for those of you that always ask me what my Instagram handle is, Style by Reme on Instagram, Style by Reme on TikTok. So anywhere you're looking for me, my name is Style by Reme. So please let's go straight into today's video.
Hey people, so these are the fabrics I'm going to be using to recreate this top. So I'm making these actually for someone who is a size 10. I'm going to be making use of these two different fabrics to make this top, the darker shade and then this light yellow. So in my last video we drafted the pattern for this corset. For those of you that have not seen it, you definitely want to go and check that out as well. So we're going to use this now to cut out on an actual fabric, which is what I've gone ahead to do here. So this is what we have. I have my front, back, and then this is the center piece. I've also gone ahead to add 1/2 inch stitching allowance all the way around, as you can see. I added it for the front, the center, the back, and for the back I decided not to add it on the sides. As you can see, I added at the top and below, and then for the cups I added it all the way around, as you can see right here. So this particular top is going to have a zipper at the back. Now I've gone ahead to cut out everything I have on my actual fabric on my lining pieces, just the same way it is on the actual fabric. Now I'm going to work on the front pieces as you see me arranging them together. So I'm placing them right sides facing each other, trying to join the center front to the side fronts. So now we're going to head over to the sewing machine and stitch down here and here. And for the cup, you know how I like to bring back my pattern paper just to ensure that I'm placing them right sides so that I don't mistakenly stitch the wrong sides together. So I've gotten it right now, and what I'm going to do is to just place the right sides facing each other, as you see me doing like this, holding them with my pins together just along the curved line. If you've done it correctly, this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch it along this end, and I'll do the same thing for the other piece as well. So I've stitched these 3 front pieces together, and also I've stitched down the cups. So if you've opened up the cup to flip it over, it's like this after stitching down. So this is what I have for the 2 pieces, and you can see that we have a space inside the cup for our boob to sit, which is exactly how it should be. So I'm going to just make notches all the way around our curve, and I'm going to go over and iron them out. So guys, back to the front part of our top. I've gone ahead to make this boning line here. I actually folded it in form of like a bias, which is what I have here. So basically I'm just going to place it here on this dart line that I had in front, and I'm going to stitch it on both sides, and I'll do it for this part as well. So guys, our boning lines are ready, as you can see. So what I'm going to do now is to place my cups on this area right here, and basically I'm just going to first of all pin it down just the same way you see me doing like this. I'm just going to pin it all the way around, and I'll do that for the both cups. So I'll go over now and stitch it down here, and I'll do the same thing for this other one as well. So guys, I stitched it down and this is what I have. It came out very nice. So I'm going to leave this aside now, and I'm going to work on my cups. So this is the normal pattern we created earlier, so I'm just cutting it off like this to have a normal corset pattern, and I'm just going to use it to cut out on my wadding. I'm not going to add any stitching allowance to this. So now this is what I have. I'm just going to use my sewing machine to join it together using the same technique I used in my last corset video. So guys, for this you necessarily don't have to go through this whole stress. If you have a ready-made cup, you can absolutely use it. But if you don't and you want to make something like this and you do not have my kind of machine that does, you can definitely try to join them together with hand stitching. So this is what I have. What I'm going to do now, as you can see, is just to place it inside my cup, pin it into my cup just the same way you see me doing it like this. And I'm going to do it for the both sides. So when we're done with it, we're just going to go over to the sewing machine and make some stitches around it to join it to the actual fabric. So after I was done with that, I went ahead to iron it up, and this is what I had. So this is what the back looks like now. I've removed the pins and you can see how it's standing firmly. So I went ahead to fold it in two, and as you can see, I'm just cutting away all the excess wadding from the cup, just to ensure that everything is sitting right and pretty. And this is what the front looks like. So everything I've done here on this front, I'm going to go ahead and do it on my lining piece, just everything repeated on the lining piece. So this is what I have after I was done stitching the back piece down. You can see how pretty it looks. So I'm just going to place it on the front piece, right sides facing each other, just the same way you see me doing it like this. And I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and stitch this top, the side, and then the down. And I'm going to leave the armpit area without stitching. So this is what I had after I was done stitching it around. So I'm just going to go ahead now and flip it over to the right side through the armhole area here, and I'm going to iron it out. So guys, this is what I have, and this is the front, very clean and neat. Now we're going to leave this aside and we're going to work on the back pieces. So I wanted boning casing for the back as well, so I already ironed it out. And this side here, the zipper area, I am going to go in by 4.5 inches, just the same way you're seeing me doing like this. And I'm just going to make a mark at that point here, and I'm going to place my bias right on it like this and pin it down. And I'm just going to ensure that the bias stays in a straight line all the way to the end, and I'm going to pin it down as well. And I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and stitch it down on both sides. So while I was working on the back boning area, I realized that I had already stitched down the boning area for the front, sealed it up without actually placing the boning through the casing. So I had to actually go over to the front piece and loosen a little bit under it, this place here, so that I'll be able to get a space to attach my boning. I hope you actually understand. So before you stitch your lining to your actual fabric, please make sure that you attach your boning. So I had to actually loosen this up and attach my boning. So this is what I mean through the little casing. So I'm doing this through the back. That's why you're not seeing my boning line actually showing. So I'm just placing it through the small hole that I've created down here, just the normal way you would have placed your boning. Just place it, ensure that there's a little space for me to seal it back, and I did it for the both parts. Don't worry about the fact that it's curving when you place your lining on your boning on it. Actually, when you iron it out, it's going to come out straight. So guys, after I fixed my mistake, you can see that I have my boning through the casing now, and I've ironed it out and it's straight, thank God. So now we can continue with our tutorial. Now I'm going to first of all place my lining piece on the back, and I'm going to head over and stitch only the top first, just the neck area first, leaving every other side. So guys, I've stitched it at the top and this is what it looks like. Now I'm just placing my boning through the casing so that we don't make the same mistake we made earlier on. So next I went ahead to iron it straight, so that as you can see our boning is now standing straight. It doesn't have that weird curve anymore. So now we're going to head over to the sewing machine and stitch it down on this side here, on this end, this side, and then this side. We'll leave the armhole area so we'll be able to turn it over. So guys, this is what I have. This is what it looks like at the back and the front. So now I'm going to attach my zipper to the center back, which is what I'm doing right now. So remember that I gave the back a 1.5 inch stitching allowance from the first tutorial. So we're going to be using that 1.5 inch right now to stitch our zipper. So I'm going to ensure that my stitches are right along these white lines I made when I'm stitching this down on the sewing machine. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done placing my zipper. And you can see this waist area, how it went in instead of bulging out. So when she puts it on, it's going to actually just fit perfectly. So I'm taking the measurement of how wide I want the neck area to be. So I'm going to mark it, and then I'm going to extend that mark to meet the armhole area. And as you can see, I'm doing the exact same thing in front. So we have our front and back pieces ready. So all that is left now is for us to attach our sleeve to the armhole area, and that will basically be all for the top. So for the sleeve, I cut out this piece. The shorter part is 10 inches long, and then the longer part is about 20 inches long. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is to fold it in like you see me doing, like this, at this top here and at this other end. And I'm going to do it for the both pieces. This is going to be my sleeve. So this all depends on how long you want your sleeve to be. For this particular piece, I'm just making use of the amount of fabric I have. So if you want your sleeve to come out longer, instead of using 10 inches that I used here, you can use about 15 inches to have a longer sleeve. And if you want it to be more puffed, definitely you should add more to the length. For me, it's about 20 inches. Yours can be as long as 25 inches. So I've gone ahead to stitch it down on both sides, as you can see. And I'm just using my front piece, the armhole area of my front piece. I placed it on the sleeve that I already folded up, just the same way you're seeing me doing, like this. I went ahead to cut it out. So this is what our sleeve is looking like. So one part is longer than the other. So for the top, I am going to be using 7 inches of elastic, and for this other side I'll be using 9 inches of elastic. So I went ahead to place my elastic through the casings I had. So I already placed it for the top here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing under. And after I was through with that, this is what I came up with for the two sleeves. So now it's time to join this to the actual dress. So you've pinned this around for all the 4 parts of the armhole. So guys, when you're through pinning down the sleeve area, you're going to go ahead to the sewing machine and stitch it all the way around. And then to finish it up, I'm just going to stitch down the side with the 1.5 inch stitching allowance I gave to it in the beginning. And that will basically be all for the top. So this is what the final dress looks like. Like I said earlier, I made this dress for my auntie who's a size 10. Although she allowed me to wear it, you know how it will look on me because I'm a size 6. So it actually came out big on me. I wish I had a body form to wear this on because I knew it would have looked absolutely amazing. But this was the only picture I was able to get. I hope you try out this tutorial and I hope you find it helpful. I will see you guys in my next one. If you're not subscribed, please hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Bye.